Hey, I'm Corwin, and today we're going to try to finish the front end on the Cadillac. Alright, so last time you saw me do a lot of work on this, trying to get everything out, but check this out. Look how good these look. Painted them all up, cleaned them up, they look fantastic. So I'm going to start pressing these in and then try to get them back on the car.
Here we go again, starting the day with this unruly horse of a tool. I don't know, I was really excited to get this stuff back on the car, so it didn't really bother me at the time, but watching this footage back, it's like I never want to have to do this again.
Okay, so this bushing, which goes here, presses in here, you can see there's a little lip on it right there, so it only goes one way. And before I started to press this in, I just wanted to double check I was doing it right. So I wanted to show you this so you can see it says to press it from the side with the flanges. So that's easy enough. But I went back and looked at the book. Look at this. This is what it says you're supposed to do to get those bearings out that I was having such a problem with. It actually says and gives specs for how to build a tool out of 1/4-inch steel, cold rolled, it specifies, to put in a press to get those things out. Who in their right mind would ever go through all that? I mean, I guess a Cadillac technician back in the day, but good lord, it's no wonder I had such an issue with it. But anyway, I'm gonna throw this guy in and then do the ones on the top for both sides, and then hopefully we can get them back on the car.
The sheer optimism in my naive voice makes me sick listening back to that now. This was the first of many issues I had working on this thing, and, well, you'll see.
Anybody want to take a guess at what the issue might be here? For those of you who were paying attention during the last episode, you'll remember this is way too long to want to work in this press. So I think it's back to the old, try to get it started straight with a socket pressing here. I've got one of these old flat washers I'll set up against this side, but I'm just very rapidly ruining all of the paint job, nice finish work that I already had done on this piece. Luckily it's under the car and nobody will be able to see it, but I should have thought of this beforehand.
Yeah, I told you. I tried to tell you, but you didn't listen. But this really just took a little bit of finagling. Again, it's just, this stuff just didn't fit. The C-clamp just was never made for something like this. And after some adjustment, it went through.
Okay, good news. This one's in, looks great. Same with that lower ball joint there. But I just came over to do this one since I already had the setup ready to go. Look at this. So I don't know if you remember me saying that the old one just fell out, which is over here. I mean, I guess I'll just have to live with it. I don't really know what else to do. It's not like I can add any material here. It just kind of is what it is. So I hope that's not that can't be what's causing my steering issues, right? I mean, that's a snug fit. It's just not pressed. Don't know.
Okay, there it is. You can start to hear the depression sinking in slowly. I was pretty sure I knew what I was doing here, and I did. I got it all mostly back in. It really wasn't too bad, but nothing's ever easy on this car.
Okay, so I grabbed the A-arm, upper A-arm, thought, okay, I'm just going to press this in real quick, no big deal. Grabbed the new ball joint and noticed there's an R on this, and it's actually, you can see there, it's only made to really rotate one way. Now, unfortunately, if you remember, this one, I mean, they look the same, but I don't know if it came off this way or this way, and the other one didn't have that little bracket on it that this one's stamped with. So I'm pretty sure, I mean, typically on a car, right is passenger, which makes sense, because if you think about it, if this was mounted on the driver's side of the car like this, so like this, then it would only be able to rotate forward, and you wouldn't want negative caster. You would want it to be rotated a little bit back. So I'm pretty sure this one goes on the passenger side so that it can rotate back, and then the other one goes on this side. But I'm just going to flip through the book real quick just to see if there's anything to confirm that, and then I'll finish pressing these in. Okay, good thing I checked. Right here, caster should be -0.5 degree to -1.5 on all series cars, with a preferred setting of -1 degree. And then here on this lovely diagram, front of the car, caster angle this way. So if we're looking at it like this, which is how it would go in the car, then it actually would tilt this way, just ever so slightly. So okay, I think that's how it's got to be. I might do a Google search real quick just to triple check, because there's nothing else in here, and even this diagram doesn't really show that exactly. So I just really don't want to have to do this again. I'm just gonna triple check. Okay, just for anybody who's wondering, VR stamped on here, passenger side, the L stamped right here, driver's side. Okay, just to clear that up, I'm glad I looked, because there's a very high possibility I would have done it the wrong way. God forbid I have to do anything twice on this job. These actually were pretty hard to press in. You can see here, after even just cranking on it a little bit, I pulled it back off, checked everything was lined up, and then just let the gun just go away at it. And here, this one was a little dry. I'm gonna go ahead and pack it a little bit. These do have grease fittings on the backside, so I'll be sure to do that before driving it around. But that one just wasn't a lot going on inside, and wanted to be sure it was good to go. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I just pressed this one in. No big deal. I'm gonna grab this guy, slide him in here. Make sure I've got this going the right way. I should slide that guy in there. Hopefully I can still do that. I didn't screw myself up. And then I'm gonna put the other bushing on this side, and I'm gonna try to draw it in with a bolt. This bolt that goes in here obviously is too short, but I got 100 bolts over there sitting on the bench, so I'm gonna grab another one and see if I can't just draw this thing in. Well, I say that, but this might be another loosey-goosey fit, so maybe I'll luck out, but that's the idea. And then of course I'll do the same thing on the other one, but fingers crossed I don't have to battle this one too hard. Was that a good idea? I don't know. It sounded good on paper, and did it work? Yes, but I would honestly kind of recommend to do what the book says. I guess there's a reason why those engineers designed it that way in the first place, but I don't have the tools to do that, and so I kind of had to make it work. And that's really what this whole car project is like, just having to make it work. And here is the next big issue on this car. Is turns out there was more to this A-arm than I originally thought. Okay, now I'm starting to wonder if something's not wrong with this A-arm. Let me show you. So I press this one in. It's sitting flush against the A-arm. This dude is all the way in. You can see there's a little notch here. It's set up against the inner part of this bushing. Over here you can see that little shiny bit is the inner part of the bushing, so the notch is up against it, but it's nowhere near flush with the A-arm. And I just said this is the old one that came off of this dude, and it's might be a little bit hard to see, but it's the same length. So there's nowhere else for this bushing to go this way to sit flush, like this one is. So now I don't know what to do. Let me get the other one, which is here. Yeah, look at that. This one's wider. So if I line this up here, lined up. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so that's not good. This guy obviously would fit fine there. This A-arm got crunched at some point. I bet you, I wonder if this is it. See this buckle right here? This one's straight. Oh, man, wow. Okay, well, I don't know what to do about that. Ah, what a dilemma. Okay, so this side is done. Everything's pressed in, everything's good to go. Even the ground strap there, all ready. This other side though, the more I look at it, the more it's just, this is bent. Look, it's crooked. That one's sitting crooked, which doesn't let it want to rotate. But this is the setup I finally figured out to press this last guy in. So the vise is holding the A-arm here by the bearing. The other end of the vise, I got this heavy duty piece of steel with a bolt just to keep it from slipping off this end of the C-clamp. And then this end, I'm just gonna push. It worked on the other one, so I'm gonna try it on this one. The problem is this is the one that's bent, so I'm just gonna give it enough to seat, and if it pushes that end out a little bit, that's okay for now. I guess I'll look online and see what I can find. Stuff for this car is extremely hard to find, so finding a A-arm that's in good condition for a 65 may or may not be doable. I'll just have to take a look, but for now I want to get the car back on the ground. My wife has been parked in the driveway for a couple of days now, and I just gotta get going on this. So I can replace this A-arm at a later date by itself. I think just for now, I gotta keep going on this before I lose my mind pressing all this stuff in and out. So okay, so I got it about as good as it's gonna be until I can get a new A-arm, at which point I'll probably just buy new bushings and repeat this process now that I know what I'm doing. But the driver's side is ready to go back in the car. But let's talk about this guy. Is it a good tool? Yes. Do I ever want to use it again? 100% no. It is so hard to use by yourself, especially with a broken finger. A press, traditional H-frame press, would be so much easier. This thing works great for me in a home garage, but holy hell, if I was doing this more than once in a lifetime, I would seriously invest in the right tools. So before I start putting all this stuff back on, I just wanted to show that I did go down to local hardware store Elliott's, which is great, and got all new hardware. This stuff is worn out and old, so matched it all up with its grade 8 counterpart, and I'm gonna put everything back on with this heavy duty stuff.
Again, you can still hear a little bit of the optimism in my voice. Now this clip, I even sped it up here in post, and this is a very brief snippet of the amount of time I spent underneath this car trying to get this thing to go in. I was quickly losing hope, and it was over 100 degrees.
Okay, I've been at this for like an hour now. This thing does not want to go in. The new bearing is just like a millimeter too big, and it attaches straight to the frame, so you can imagine that metal doesn't really want to flex. And so I've tried hammers. It just doesn't want to go. Like finally, what I think I figured out is that, so this is the old bolt that went through there, and this bit on the end, I thought, whatever, what use could that possibly have? Well, it turns out the joke's on me, because I think that's the only way to 100% get this stuff lined up, because I'm this close underneath the car, and I just took one of my grade 8s and ground the same tip on it so that once it gets started in the hole, it'll go all the way through. And anyway, that's the hope. I guess I'm gonna try it out now and see how it goes.
So ultimately, with the bottle jack and a piece of wood and a hammer, I was able to get everything lined up enough so that the taper on the end of that bolt could locate the hole and push it all the way through. It really sucked having to be this violent with it, especially after all the work I did cleaning it up.
Okay, it's in. A little hard to see under here, but finally I got it, and that was a beating. I don't know what to do now. Like, look at me. Oh my god, that's embarrassing. I don't know. That was way too difficult, and it took way too long. So I'm gonna see. I'm gonna get the upper A arm in, and then that's the spring, which I'm deathly afraid of. So I don't know if I'm gonna do that today. I'm definitely not gonna do the other side today. I might have to do it tomorrow night. I haven't even shown you guys the best part of what I got in the mail. So, damn, this sucks.
So the upper A-arms are actually the easiest part of this job. There's just 2 bolts that go through the frame. You kind of have to locate them inside the spring perch, but it's really not too bad. And
okay, upper A-arm, piece of cake. You can see the new hardware there, no problem. But let me show you this next part. The book says to jam the spring in between the lower arm and its perch up at the top, and then literally jack up. I already broke my finger once. This is freaking me out, man. I don't know. I don't want to do this.
yeah, if only I knew then what I know now. So before I could really get started on doing that, I had to reassemble this brake. I took it apart a little bit just because I thought that would be the easiest way to get it off. Ultimately, I didn't need to, but before I could really get going on the spring, I had to get that back together. And keen-eyed viewers will probably already spot the issue, but it's not going to fit.
It's like I thought. There's not enough room to get the spring perched on the lower mount with the height of the car at the moment, which is, precarious at best. So, first thought was to grab the spring compressors, compress a couple of these coils, just enough to get it started, take them off, and then perform the procedure, I guess.
These spring compressors work, obviously, but as anybody will tell you, they're not the most fun tool to use, and you kind of always feel like you're on the edge of everything exploding. Here you can see I'm using a piece of wood in that hole with a bottle jack to try to get it started, and it worked, but really I need to just get another jack. I would not recommend doing it this way.
Okay, good news. I got the jack under the ball joint, like it's supposed to be, which looks great. The problem now, I gotta get these spring compressors off, and I have no idea how I'm gonna do that because now the tops are hidden in the frame. So, it's like I do this to myself intentionally, but I swear I don't.
Here we get to witness a wonderful bit of cinematography where you get to stare at this drum brake while I repeatedly crank on this thing with a crescent wrench. Switch sides, okay, that's a little bit different, and now there's my dirty shoulder. So this is just really a wondrous piece of art here. hopefully you all can appreciate what I'm willing to give, for this is a museum quality piece, really.
Okay, I was right. Let's see if I can get it here. The bottom, or the nut, is hidden up inside the spring perch. So now I have resorted to channel locks on the bottom, and I get about a half a turn every time. So I'll see you guys in about 5 years. Okay, good to go. So now it's just the incredibly dangerous part of jacking up the jack, compressing the spring, and bolting all this stuff back together. So I don't know why I'm so afraid of this. Actually, I do.
This is a short-lived clip here, but let's just say this was attempt number 1.
Okay, well, some genius put the jack underneath the ball joint, so now the brake won't slide over enough. I swear it's like I'm fighting myself on this. But just pull your freaking head out, man. Now I gotta go back through the hullabaloo of getting the bottle jack under here to support it, so I swear.
Okay, so attempt number 2. This worked. It's like a giant puzzle. If I ever am on Survivor, I'm gonna be able to nail all that stuff easy. You guys will see me at Final Tribal, because all the experience I have working on this car is fully preparing me for that sort of experience.
Okay, well, the book tells you to take disconnect the spindle from the brake, and that's why there is so little clearance. You can see that little cutout right there to get this arm in between that and through the hole. I had to take the top off, and then of course I was holding this whole thing trying to keep the spring it's just a mess. I just probably leave this one to the professionals, huh? I got it. So what I'll do is I'll run a bolt through here just to keep it on there, and then just keep jacking it up until it meets the lowest point of this upper A-arm. Throw a bolt on there, make sure everything's torqued. Thank God I'm almost finished with this. There I was, speaking too soon yet again, thinking I was home free. I'm about 2 inches away up here, and I am out of jack. It's just wonderful. I'm gonna see if I can't pull that shock down, bolt it into the A-arm, the lower arm, I should say, and then let the jack out slowly and see if the shock will hold it so I can reposition the jack.
I actually, what I just said is a bad idea. Don't do that. But then I actually had a good idea. Apologies for this wonderful X-rated shot. I went ahead and put the other jack underneath to support it, because after looking at it, that strut wasn't going to hold anything, and I don't recommend anybody tries doing it that way. Definitely support it. And here I went and grabbed some more wood and just kind of built it up so that thing could not go anywhere, and it worked. I was really happy with that, and it went really well. And here you can see, that looked like it was bad, but it worked. I got it, and I just got the extra couple of inches I needed to seat that up on the upper A-arm, and it was all good to go.
I'm dead. It's done. This side, driver's side, is done. I got nothing left. I'm gonna do the passenger side off camera, because I'm guessing it's gonna be the same. Me fighting the car, fighting myself, drinking beer, the usual. I look like death, but 50% of the way done. I just need to check the torque specs, which I have written down here on my lovely diagram. Throw in the cotter pins, throw in the grease fittings. Yeah, this is not easy stuff. Everything on this car weighs twice as much as anything modern, There's no aluminum. This is all hard cast steel, pressed iron. It is solid and dense. And God, it puts up a fight, I'm telling you. If you stuck around this long, then you got to see the explosion. Luckily I didn't break anything this time, so that's good. But next, like I said, passenger side, and then we get to do some fun stuff. This is not fun, especially in 100-degree heat. Humidity is awful. I try to run the fan as much as I can, but it's horrible for the audio, so, you know, it's my sacrifice for you, so thanks. Let me know if you have any questions, but hopefully this helps somebody along the way.